time.
It's not that bad, Lewis.
What?
Only teasing you.
It's too late now.
I mean, it's not great. But
No, it's definitely not great, but not horrible.
And we're live, I think, finally. Let me just check, because it's all a bit... Yeah, we're there.
Not horrible.
It looks good. It looks good. Good evening, everyone. Live, I think, finally. Where did I get to? Let me just check. In a mess now. Yeah, we're there.
It's not horrible.
It looks good. Let me turn this down now. Good evening, everyone. Right, now we're ready. We're back once again with a fun-packed show crammed with the greatest gossip from across the imaginary plane. Joining us on the panel tonight is my Discord sidekick, the ever-lovely Twitwit.
Hello, Jem. Hi, guys.
Also with us is our defense expert, the never-lovely Lewis Hackett.
Ouch. Thank you, though. I appreciate being here. Hi, everyone.
And for the third week running, he once went flat, and then he came back. It's cool for Catz, Cat Earth.
Hello.
Hi, Cat. And direct from the Hollywood basement, where they faked the moon landing, it's M. Scott Veach.
Hi, hello, Jim. Hi, everyone.
Hi there. Good week, everyone?
Exceedingly good. Exceedingly good, Jeremy. Thank you.
It's been a gossipy week in Flatardia, I can tell you that. There's all sorts of things been going on. I've got lots of video tonight, got a couple of long clips tonight, quite a bit to get through. So a fun-packed show. Kicking off this evening with Owen Benjamin, who has been the talk of Flat Earth this week. Owen Benjamin, I'd never heard of the guy. The first I heard of him really was they were talking about him on Globebusters last week. And I hoped to play a clip of that, but for some reason they've removed that show. I don't know what they did, but obviously had something in it and they shouldn't. And David Weiss was on there singing this guy's praises and saying that he's converting to a flat earther, sort of live online. He said he's a stadium-filling comedian, which I believe is true. He's been in a few movies. He has a massive following. He has about, I think, 3,500 live viewers on his live stream. So anyway, let's have a look at what he's been saying. Hang on.
It will go wrong
That's
again.
not my day today.
I will.
Why is this not working? It is working, but very slowly for some reason.
Something's on your live stream, I think.
Right, okay. Hang on, I'm going to reset this. Talk amongst yourselves, guys, for a minute, if you wouldn't mind.
Alright, what are we going to talk about?
Okay.
Wait, guys, you should see Lewis's hair. Lewis, put your hair on the stream.
Oh, gosh.
No, I'm not going to do that. Next,
Press 1 to see Lewis's hair.
I saw Owen Benjamin for the first time off of Haunted. Haunted House recommended that person. Well, actually, he didn't. Karen was on Haunted, and she did, and that's where I saw Owen Benjamin. And yeah, he had over 3,000 live viewers, which is insane for a Flat Earth stream. So Haunted, and she did, and that's where I saw
Is it a Flat
Owen
Earth stream, or
Benjamin.
is it
And
just a
yeah, he
comedy
had over 3,000 live viewers, which is insane. There's some gray area there. There is. So, and she did. He's definitely a conspiracy theorist. Started more towards moon landing denying. Moon hosts. And this was just the glove fit, the Flat Earth glove fit for him. So he's wearing it.
Sorry, guys, just keep going. I'm still having trouble with this. It just doesn't want to work today.
Perfect time to shout out Shroomy then.
All right.
I see what I did there.
Hi, Shroomy.
I did the watch page instead of the clips page. Oh my god, we're in such a mess.
Shout out Shroomy.
I'm nearly there, guys. I'm sorry to be so crap.
I've got to say as well, the chat has demanded that Lewis shows hair on stream. Well, mainly it was just me.
They will regret it.
It really is.
Oh, god damn.
It's become a thing.
Flat Earth people are not retarded.
Hang on.
And so if your
Nearly
first
there,
instinct
guys.
is if someone believes the Earth
I'm
is
gonna have
flat,
to go
they're
into
retarded,
hiding.
you're retarded.
It's not that
Listen.
bad, Lewis. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Just wear a hat.
Oh, I don't believe you at all.
Yeah, I don't believe it either. I think she seriously thinks it's that bad.
It's winter,
give us 6
Lewis.
weeks.
It's winter. Wear a hat. Get a beanie.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea. I have
Yeah.
no.
I had
Oh
said
my-
that earlier. Just grab a hat.
Right then, guys. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Owen Benjamin.
Flat Earth people are not retarded. And so if your first instinct is if someone believes the Earth is flat, they're retarded, you're retarded. Listen. The reason I believe the Earth is a sphere, I can't prove it because I can't prove the nature of gravity or time. They call gravity a law. They call evolution a theory. Evolution's bullshit, and gravity is not a law. The whole ship going down over the curve isn't true. That doesn't happen. That's literally a myth. And we live in a heliocentric pagan world. It's a fallen world. And so the worship of the sun is the heliocentric model. You have to understand how insane it is, the probability that the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun and 400 times closer than the sun. And it fits perfectly in an eclipse. That's the odds of that are basically zero. NASA are Nazi liars. The salt plains of Bolivia, you can see for literally like 200 miles without seeing a curve. It's very frightening. I can prove without doubt that we never went to the moon. That's why I was so passionate about that conversation, because I can factually prove that it isn't possible. There's a $1 trillion tourism business to go to the moon. It would be the best place to study Earth. There's no atmosphere. You can study the stars all day long. You can study how gravity affects we have bases on Antarctica and the North Pole and Greenland and everywhere, but for some reason we have none on the moon. I am an expert at mass communication. I minored in it in college. I understand television production. I was on PSTV in Plattsburgh State University. I get it. I understand. Not only am I smart enough to figure out the shit, but just to let you know, I know what it is. The amount of electricity it takes to broadcast a live television broadcast is not remotely possible from any of the specs from the moon. Add on to that, you're flying through space. You're going through 237,000 miles of a vacuum through a radiation belt, like a horrific radiation belt going to the Earth in the late 1960s, and people can hear you talk without enough delay to make it. They did a 4-second delay because the retards didn't realize it would have been more like a 30-second delay. Please fucking tell me how you can go up into near-Earth orbit and stay still and the Earth is not flying by if it's spinning on a goddamn axis. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't explain it, can you? The fuck? Inertia, that doesn't mean a goddamn thing and we both know it. Inertia. Someone just says inertia. You don't think I know about inertia? The worst is like, I obviously understand physics. I got 790 out of 800 on my physics PSATs, right? That's like one question I got wrong. I understand physics very, very well. Not on a level of like MIT or anything like that, but on a basic, way above average level, I understand the principles of physics. Take an astronomy course at your local university. Now you're banned. I've obviously taken astronomy courses, and that's not an argument. My IQ is higher than any college professor at any of these colleges. So, good times. Who looks for truth in a YouTube chat? Well, not you anymore, Larry. By the way, the only people named Larry are pedophiles and mailmen. When you're above the atmosphere, you're in orbit. You already had inertia from the rotation, and there's no longer air friction to slow you down, so you're orbiting around just like the moon is. That makes no sense, Dan. If you're going from west to east, let's say you're fighting the rotation, your inertia based on the your jets. So if you're going east to west, you have different inertia than west to east. Is that your argument? Is that your physics argument? You gotta be fucking kidding me, man. So if you're going west to east and you go same amount of gasoline and you have the same fucking inertia. So your argument is either that combustion rockets don't work in a vacuum because that's a problem, or you're wrong. Fuck! This is so fucking depressing. I can't be a flat earth person. This is...
Oh my God.
He's pretty raw, isn't he?
At first, he was kind of reminding me of Math Powerland, but then I thought I wasn't sure if he was trolling or not. Like there was the bit with the keyboard. I think the keyboard was just throwing me off.
Right.
I was like, he's got the keyboard. He's Math Powerland, but he seemed quite sincere, didn't he? He's like really angry, and some of these questions aren't like bad questions. If you've watched the videos, it's just I don't know.
I know. I thought his question about leaving the Earth's atmosphere and that was being answered with inertia and with the better explanation. And for someone who claimed to understand, to have the knowledge of physics that he claimed, he should have known a little bit more about what was being said to him, I thought.
Not only does he have a very good grasp of physics, but he has a higher IQ than all of the college professors.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, once anyone says a claim like that, it's just, I don't know how you can take anything they say seriously. It's just, besides also, there's no such thing as a physics PSAT. He just made that up on the spot. Got a 790 out of 800 on his physics PSAT. I've never heard of such a thing in my life.
Yeah, the flat earthers. Apparently, the reason he's doing this is for some reason he's having a debate with Eric Dubay. Supposedly, there's no date set for this, and so he needs his globe proofs. Is the angle that he's going down? But of course, when he's offered them, he's just dismissed them. I mean, in that exchange where he's going through his chat, someone had mentioned star rotations, and he just said, "Oh well, that may be true, but it's not a mic drop argument." He kept referring to,
Right.
But I mean, he does. I mean, literally from what he's saying, he doesn't even have the absolute basics down. Like he doesn't understand the very beginnings of arguments, much less, prepared to go into like deal with sort of the sophisticated tricks the flat earthers employ.
Right. But I think he's sort of, he's your typical entitled millennial that wants it all in a bite-sized chunk. That he can instantly understand without having to, apply himself to it or, devote any time to. It should all just be revealed to him, just like that,
Well, but not only that, the what I think is the poison attitude is, and this refusal to say I don't know or this might be a new piece of information for me. This attitude of anything anyone says seems to be an affront to his intelligence that he has to like insist that is either wrong or he already knew.
Right.
Like I don't know how he's possibly going to learn something.
Right. I mean,
he's definitely.
Sorry, go ahead.
He's not going to learn anything from anybody whose name is Larry. That's for sure.
That's because I don't know if you heard, but
I think that was. Actually, I do know his surname, but I can't remember it. But Larry, he's very good on astronomy, and in fact, he has like an astronomy name that he uses on YouTube. is it Hydrogen Alpha or something like that? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Anyway, but I'm wondering if it was that guy, because I can imagine him saying that. Any thoughts, Twit?
Well, the first thing that came to mind is he has really great teeth for a guy who clearly lives in a makeshift shelter in the woods somewhere. Other than that, I'm not really sure what to make of him. He's just another angry guy, and I'm not impressed.
Yeah, he's got that usual sort of, he's an alpha male sort of thing. He has a very, very beautiful wife, actually, that pops up from time to time, but she's absolutely lovely.
Won't keep her for long.
What does she think about all this?
Well, she's only on there sort of momentarily, but she said that she'd been with him, I think, for 12 years, and I think she said he was always right, or usually right. I think that's what she said.
She probably said she didn't get slapped or something.
No, well, to be fair, you could, I think this thing, you could be quite fairly intelligent and into this thing, and fall for it. He's obviously arrogant, the sort of, he's probably quite intelligent. And he's kind of fallen in a bad place where he's watched too much YouTube, like everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can imagine why they would say that. It was a bit like with me, because I'm not super clever, but I didn't usually talk about stuff. When I talk about things with my family and stuff, I wouldn't talk bullshit. Do you know what I mean? So they were sort of worried, but well, maybe he's right. I don't know, because they haven't got time to look up the flat Earth either.
I mean, to be fair to him, he said some other stuff which I haven't included, and I probably should have done, where he's talking. He talks about things he doesn't like about flat Earth. They should have a picture of the edge or the dome. And he also talks about the cultish behavior of flat earthers, and he sort of gives them a telling off in his chat. And if he's talking about Vietnam, he doesn't want people talking about flat Earth. And some of his followers have emailed him and said, "Look, dude, the Earth might be flat, but these flat earthers are idiots." So he does. He's not. He's not really one way or the other, to be honest. But it doesn't look like he's got any route to the good arguments, because he's just dismissing them and thinking he sort of knows better when clearly he doesn't.
What was that thing he said? Why does he think that the ships going over the horizon is bullshit?
Yeah,
he says it doesn't happen.
I think because he thinks with the P900 you can bring them back into view.
It's literally a non-starter with him. Then it's like this is the kind of basics I'm talking about, where it's like if he's falling for that stuff, if he believes that stuff, then he believes absolutely anything anyone will tell him on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's it, because if you've only watched the flat Earth, because if you're into flat Earth, you don't usually come across the debunk, or the debunks a lot of the time, to be fair, or to be critical of the people who make them, are too complicated and just boring. So you watch the flat Earth things, it's got some cool music, it's got the Eric Jabay thing or whatever, and it's, that's what you think for a while, because that's all you know. Oh yeah, you can bring it back, or whatever. That's what I've seen, because it's quite a lot to start digging into, really. And if he's just got into it, that's why he's kind of open. He's probably just into it, and he's not really had a lot of time to. How long's he been doing this? I don't even know.
But I think he's only been covering flat Earth for the last sort of couple of weeks. But before that, he did some stuff on Apollo, and he's absolutely convinced Apollo's a hoax, and he can prove it in hundreds of ways. He can prove it factually in hundreds of ways. I think.
Well, he said one. He said that the power requirements of transmitting a signal, which of course is A, simply not true, and just B, shows a woeful misunderstanding about the way in which things are sent and received.
Right. He thinks the delay should be longer.
Yeah. Where is he getting that? Because that's pretty simple, just speed of light calculation.
Right. Well, he seemed to think it was dependent upon the power you had to send it. Yeah.
Okay.
again, fundamental misunderstandings of really basic.
Well, that must be the one question he got wrong on his physics PSAT. That's why he got the 790 instead of 800.
Yeah, that could be it.
Well, I say welcome the guy. He's interesting. He's more interesting than some of the other boring flat earthers now.
Yeah,
so I hope he
and like I say, some of his. Sorry, go ahead. Didn't mean to cut.
No, that's what I was going to say. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, some of his approach seemed, quite fair. I thought, he was some of it. The bits where he was slagging off flat earthers, I guess. But then he does a lot of sort of. But I mean, I think he gets accused of being anti-Semitic, but I'm loath to say that because, for one thing, I did hear him say he isn't anti-Semitic, and he believes in a sort of a Jewish conspiracy, but he doesn't believe all the Jews are in it. Is how he said it, I think.
Yeah, nowadays on
only
the
some of the Jews.
Yeah, a cabal. He believes in a cabal.
Nowadays, the internet culture, if you're anti-Semitic, you're pretty much open about it. They're like, you're damn right I am. They did everything.
Well, people are taking objection to the use of that phrase, and I think he did as well because, it doesn't necessarily apply to Israelis, does it? And it can apply to other people from that region, and I have a friend who's half Syrian, and she always objects to people saying anti-Semitic. I'm not entirely sure why.
I've reached a point though on the internet where I feel like the only people that say the sentence "I'm not anti-Semitic" are anti-Semitic people. Like, there's no cause for anyone else to be saying.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you shouldn't need to point it out, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, shall we move on? I think we've done that guy to death. Well, hopefully he'll have his debate, and it'll be entertaining to see anyway.
Although I was reading in the chat that I guess he blocked Eric or something and refuses to talk to Eric, or Eric blocked him or something. So maybe it's not going to happen.
It could be. He blocks and bans people a lot, all the time. Someone gave him $10 while I was watching. Someone gave him $10 in a super chat and said, "Why did you block me on Twitter?" And he went, "You're blocked."
I kind of have to respect. That's the first cool thing I've heard.
And he said, "I don't care about the money. Other people wouldn't have done that, but Yeah, which actually was quite a funny thing to do. I mean, if I'd been that guy, I would have been so frustrated with that. But what can you do? Anyway, coming up. It's actually 2 videos. The first one's only 40 seconds long, so I thought I'd whack it on the front. It's the Flat Earth Amsterdam Convention coming up.
Yeah, boy.
Followed by another video asking for participation, possibly from members of our audience. So check this out, guys. Oh.
Gonna censure me.
You go first, and then what we want to do is, I know Nora's got a question, I think Kathy has a question, but we'll actually take questions for the next quarter hour.
Expanding on that, mathematics is a form of measurement, yes, and it deals in units, and the only answer it can give is in units. Is that correct?
Not necessarily.
Okay, because the only time I see it not coming up with units is when you come up with infinity.
really happy that you're here because you should be able to give us an inside view of your education.
What you've brought up is actually not so much a problem, but it is aware. Scientists are aware of that.
I have an important question. Why is NASA faking it all? Obviously.
Yes, because the Cavendish experiment was done within gravity of Earth, right?
A counting system that we as humans made up to count sheep is necessarily going to tell us all the secrets of the world.
And see whether you reach the same conclusions or not. But at least look at what we've looked at.
Yes, I work with that data every day.
Do you have any real experiment that you can point me to?
Well, no, the Cavendish experiment is the one that I saw in school, and it's my go-to example of that. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I mean, the gravitational constant is one of the most well-constrained constants we have. So there will be other experiments. There will be, yeah.
Would be.
I can't give you one off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm afraid, I'm sorry.
Not only do yes, we believe they did, but I'm also quite proud of it. And I'm quite proud that as we human beings, we've done that. We've achieved something based on our idea, scientific understanding, based on very simple maths.
Okay, I actually like this question. Okay, yeah, so shielding, having adequate shielding on these space missions would make it completely safe to take as many trips as you wanted.
I don't think that's adequate radiation shielding.
Yeah,
metal cabinets.
They didn't have radiation shielding. No shielding.
Is the high radiation on the surface of the moon because that's where they live during the lunar lander missions? I wouldn't feel safe in that in my kitchen.
One day after that, you got a waxing crescent, but you can see it at night time. But when you look at models, the sun is lighting up the path where the moon is in between. I'm just wondering how would it be possible on the heliocentric model to have a crescent moon at night time?
These scales, so that we can see them, are generally not to scale.
Okay, thank you. And just one more thing, you know the Falcon Heavy what went up with the Tesla car? I'm just wondering why the tyres didn't explode in space.
That is a very good question.
Those poor kids had no idea what they were getting into.
The whole preview was really good. I think it's well done, and it would make non-people in our shoes actually interested in going to see it. I think. Yeah. The best I could, I guess, hope for would be that they are being genuine when they say they're looking for an open discussion.
Right.
It looked friendly, didn't it? It didn't look like they were, they're obviously there to preach, aren't they? They convert people, so they've got their charismatic characters. Is it going to be open for anyone to go to then?
Well, you'll have to pay to go to the convention, but they're asking for people to. I mean, basically, you have to email them with your credentials, and that they're going to pick 4 people to go in the. In the,
you know what you should do?
Debate.
You should just lie about what your credentials are.
Well,
they probably check those.
Well, I could have done, Lewis, couldn't I? But not now.
Thanks for nothing.
I don't think they check. They're just like, oh, this person says they got a master's in physics at blah 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 university.
Well, I guess it's not really
we'll talk
a way
to them.
Check, is there?
Right, exactly. They could say, well, they could say we did check and we didn't see that this person went to this university, and just be like, well, you're wrong. Okay, I did. Like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
I don't think they have access to the sort of things that would allow them to check very well. So.
I don't think, to be fair, you don't need to bullshit it, because I don't think those kids were qualified in anything, were they? Surely they just want people to come down and.
They were students. They were, I think, they were like astrophysics students or something like that.
Oh, okay.
The only reason you would bullshit is to box out all of your competition, like the people who actually have qualifications who are trying to get in.
Yeah. But I mean, you saw the sort of variety of questions that they're getting. You know, things about the construction of the lunar module, for instance, I think was what was going on there, and things like that. I mean, there's no reason why someone who's just an astrophysics student is going to know the answer to all of these questions. But I have to say, someone like me or anyone here, we do know the answers because we know flat Earth bullshit. We know their arguments. We know, when they say, I don't know, what's a common one? We sent a balloon up to 120,000 feet and the horizon's flat. We know that they took one frame out of a video where there was a convex horizon and a concave horizon and a flat horizon. But but other people just don't know that, and they take it at face value. And I think that's why you need to be an expert in flat Earth and not necessarily an expert in physics. Although I think that's certainly useful.
Are you going to go, Jim?
Well, I kind of like the idea of going to the convention because I'd like to go to Amsterdam again. I mean, I was saying earlier, I think it's a bit of a sleazy place, quite honestly. But I did like just going and, choosing what hash I liked, and do you know what I mean? I did like that aspect to it. But I don't know. As a city, it's like other cities, I went in the summer. It was humid and smoggy, and I was in a fairly stuffy hotel room. All the buildings there have these sort of very narrow stairways, so it's all quite claustrophobic. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling.
No, it's good. I think you should go to Amsterdam. No, actually, I don't know. I can't remember.
I think it looks like it'll be a nice time.
I took magic mushrooms in Vondel Park.
Yes.
And my friend who was with me threw up. And you have this idea of, we're going to get these mushrooms, we're going to go and sit in the park, we'll be like all hippie, and then, one of your mates throws up next to you, and your other mate goes all paranoid, like, I've got to get back to the hotel. Oh, no.
I had the worst one of mushies. I bought them, and this guy was like, "Oh yeah, you need this boxes," and I was thinking, "You don't need to do that many magic mushrooms, bloody hell!" So we did half of what he said. Completely freaked out in the middle of Amsterdam, absolutely melted. Like I was just freaking out. Got a taxi, gave him about €100 because I just gave him my entire wallet. He was like, he hated me, but the whole way there, I thought the guy. The guy who's on the Shield or whatever he is. I can't remember what other things he's in. I think he's in Gotham and stuff. But he was looking at me from a tram. But there's no tram there. My cousin's like, there's no tram. He was definitely staring at me from a tram, following us the whole way, freaking out. Gave the taxi guy.
Michael Chiklis?
Yeah, the bald guy. Do you know?
Yeah, Chiklis. Yeah, Michael Chiklis.
Yeah. Oh, it's freaking me out. Yeah, and we got to I gave my entire wallet to the guy, and then he was all right with me because he was like, "Thank you very much for that tip." And then I went in and phoned my mum and cried. And then it was terrible. So, Mum! Mum's like, what the hell are you doing?
Jesus Christ.
We love you! It was terrible.
It's no place to be wasted, Amsterdam, as well. You don't want to be out on the streets there because people get knocked over by bikes all the time in Amsterdam. It's like you can look out of your hotel window and just see them being knocked off around you. People step out into the street and someone comes flying past on a bike. And for some reason, it's weird in the sense that, everywhere else you go, in this country, bikes now, when you go and buy a bike, it's cool and it's in fluorescent colours and it's got suspension and all. It's in Amsterdam, bike development just sort of bypassed Amsterdam for some reason. And all the bikes look like
it's those bikes with the big front wheel, the giant front wheel and the little back wheel. Is that?
Yeah, they're like,
when
the prisoner of war escapes in the movie and he steals the bike. That's the bike.
And it's all rickety, it won't go straight. And it's always
It's weird that. I don't know why that is, but they all have those odd bikes.
That debate that we saw footage of, they put out a similar call for that one. They said, we want PhD students or whatever, and we're inviting people to come debate it. And I actually sent an email to the I guess the organizer, and I was like, I sent the email and I basically said, look, it's a huge mistake for you guys to get random physics students, because if they aren't exposed to flat Earth, the debate is going to be dumb because they're not going to know a lot of the sort of groundwork that people know. It's like it's going to be a disaster because they're going to hear facts that aren't necessarily true or that can be debated, and they're going to have no context for knowing whether they're false, true, or what.
Exactly.
And the lady was like, "We agree 100%. We've seen that go wrong. We're definitely going to make sure that the people that we invite and bring in are going to be, well aware of what the flat Earth arguments are and how they work, et cetera, et cetera." Of course, I was like, "Great, good, awesome, go with God." And I never talked to them again. But then when I saw the debate, I was like, "Yeah, they definitely did not do that."
Yeah.
Because those kids had never heard half of these arguments before.
In that case, I mean, the link is in the description actually to their website, where you can presume you can get details to apply if anybody wants to go in this. I think I am going to apply just so I can say I've applied, basically.
I think that's a great idea.
Because
what you're going to say is your tagline.
Well, I can't really sit here complaining about, they only had astrophysicists and they don't know about flat Earth, and then not, as a person who knows about it, not apply for it. And I'll stick my name in the hat, and maybe I'll get picked.
And by the way, you have legitimately great credentials, which are go look at your debates. I mean, you've got debates going back 2 years in which you demonstrate, a familiarity with these arguments that's facile and erudite, and you clearly know this topic from beginning to end. So, what other credentials should you need?
Thank you very much. Good point.
Yeah,
very good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you should do it, Jim. I think you should do it. It'd be good because you know the arguments. You could help some of the other people. But what if you get on national TV, Jim? What if you're on national TV?
Oh, I don't think it's going to be on that.
What if they mix you up and put you as flat earther on national TV?
I'll be on national TV in the Netherlands, so that I guess won't really matter, will it?
No, what if it suddenly goes international, and they accidentally broadcast you as flat earther?
I could be converted, of course, in the Netherlands. Yes. In the Netherlands, the Earth is flat. It's like really, really flat. Yeah. So probably we should ask our audience. Hang on, what's this? Let me just read what Charlie says. Reading FE core presentation this afternoon just to see if they had anything to say. I was amazed that Anthony was doing the presentation with Karen contributing. Oh yeah, they do. FE core do like a live stream or something every so often. I noticed this on the website the other day. Apparently, it was taken down midstream this afternoon.
Right, that's what I heard.
There's a lot of this going about. Bob was complaining about it on Globebusters, that channels are being attacked and things, and yeah. Well, anyway, I guess we'll be next. I should say hello to the chat actually. So if you guys, make a drink. Because you know how long it takes me to get through this. Let's see who is here. Shroomy, shout out to Shroomy, who was first.
Shout out Shroomy.
Rich the Black. Twitwit, I've heard of her. THC Anthony, who's that? Is that Steve Anthony? Alan B is with us. Good evening, Alan. The Rig, hi Rig. Skywatcher. Flat Out's with us. Hi Flat Out. Add2 is with us. I am with us, it says. Validation Boy. Hi VB, when are you coming on the show? I ask him every week, don't I? Termin.
He's too full.
Hi Termin, good to see you. Bass is here. Stone is here. It's all the guys from our server. No one else. Paper Explanator. Captain Bullshit. I'm getting through them. Who else have we got? Delete the Elite, good evening. Aminico Stone, hi, welcome. Flashburn is with us. Hi, Flashburn. Alk is here. Hi, Alk. I should probably think of a more interesting greasing, shouldn't I? Tex Murphy, good evening, Tex. FaZe and Rusted are here. Hi, you guys. Good to see you. Pop on if you like. Hit me up. Pete Shea Encore. As if the first one wasn't enough.
VB wants a link, by the way.
Oh, does he? Can you furbish him with it? Would you mind?
I don't know how to contact him. I don't know. So, oh, I can YouTube message him, can't I?
Yeah. Do that. Who else? Where are we? Michael Jordan. Good evening. Isn't he famous, Michael Jordan? It was. We'll get to that in a minute. I was going to start talking about transvestigations. Skyfly Bry. Hi, Sky. Good to see you. I think I've... Filled Coast Lads. Hello, Filled Coast Lads. That's an interesting name. Skywatcher. Did I say hi already? Sorry, guys. I'm nearly there. Cynthia OC. Oh, hi, Cynthia. Good to see you. Flat Earth Questioner is with us. Good evening. Sun Sky Stone. Cartoon Head. I think I've got everyone. Maybe missed a few people. The Flat Earth Overlord is with us. Good evening. That's the end of that bit. All right. Let's do some more.
I don't know how to send him a link. Sorry. I'm useless. Because I can't message him for some reason.
Do you have any mods in here?
No,
Oh wait, never mind.
Really
that would give.
Isa's here. Hi, Isa. Isa's been doing some good. Check out Isa Mahalski's channel. He's been doing some Flat Earth Courts. I had an epic battle on one the other day that I really enjoyed. So that was cool fun. Dan W's with us. Good evening, Dan. Good to see you. Always good to see Dan and Rizzler as well, who I missed out. So let's do some more video. Let me see what's next on my list because I've forgotten. Oh yes, I know. This is cool. Cool bit of gossip now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna like this one. Anthony Riley's gonna tell us more.
Oh no.
Right, so I had to just go on mute because I had an incoming, and I'm gonna have to be careful how I word it because I don't reach confidence and I also don't want much. But the bottom line is this. The police were contacting Patricia recently, and she thought it was a spoof call, like a sales call, so she was ignoring it. So you get to knock on the door by the actual police, and basically the short version is they've made an arrest. Somebody within the community, of which I don't know, I've not been told. I did ask, but I didn't get told. But literally, they've arrested somebody unconnected with directly from the community, but without any information or whatever. The police stumbled across it themselves for basically impersonating Mark and Patricia on the pretense that he thought that they were agents and it didn't matter. So the police basically caught this guy basically committing some kind of crimes, arrested him, and reported it back to Patricia that that's what they've done. And obviously, the next question is, well, who the hell is that? And I do know, but I can't say because it's not my story to say, but I'm sure it'll all be out in the next 24, 48 hours. So just keep your eyes open for what's happening because it's literally happening like now. So someone's been arrested for impersonating and committing some kind of presumably financial crimes in their name in the belief that it was because they were agents and it would be okay. And his actual defense was because that's what IPS said was okay to do.
Nah, this is juicy.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, in my defense, IBS did say it was okay.
Well, let me just... This is what Patty said about it in a chat, which I'm just going to stick on. So you should see this on the watch page. Looks like it's going to work. And this tells us who it was.
Oh.
Mad
Mike Hughes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, the rocket guy.
Jesus Christ.
The plot thickens.
Doesn't it? Hey? Amazing, huh?
Oh my god. But IPS is known to do this sort of stuff, isn't he? And get involved in these like beyond, what's reasonable. He's done that news thing with the names. Do you know what I mean? Because he must be behind this, right? No.
Well, I don't know.
He is.
Sorry, go ahead, Liz.
IPS is very good at recognizing where natural pressure points are for people and applying pressure, and then like just pulling strings from the background whenever he does that, when he sees how different people react. So like this makes sense. Like, and this could all be part of a larger scheme that he's got rolling around, where he's trying to get like Antonio's channel taken down, or get Nathan's channel taken down. Like this Marcus Goldfinch, this is something that's come out of his mouth before. And he did something with Tim as well. So he always does this sort of thing, and it's all with the end goal of diverting attention back to him without anybody realizing that that's what he's done.
Yeah.
He's very sneaky.
The only thing I would say is that Mad Mike Hughes also has some history in this department. In that, Twit, can you fill me in? Because I think you had a better idea than I did earlier when we were chatting about this.
About what exactly?
You know, Mad Mike Hughes, and what did he do? He copyrighted a name, didn't he, or something?
Yes, that seems to be something he enjoys doing. He will copyright a name, and that way, I believe, from what I heard him say earlier, and I'm not 100% on his wordage, but something along the lines of the mayor or a candidate for governor or something, he copyrighted his name, and that way, whenever the signage was made or this person put down his name somewhere, he was supposed to then be responsible to pay Mad Mike a set amount of money to use this name, and
right,
such and such. So anyway, I don't believe he actually ever went forth to court to collect his money, but he said that that's something he could do.
Right, so I'm wondering if this is maybe some sort of extension of that idea. I don't know, but it sounds pretty serious.
That's what I was thinking. It's bizarre, and I can't imagine what it is like to have to go and try to reclaim your name from a lunatic.
Yeah. I mean, he is crazy, and yeah, that can't be fun for them. But it is, as you say, it's just so weird, isn't it? That I don't know. It's like the weirdest crime you've ever heard of, you know. That's
IPS. He's weirdo.
Yeah, I wonder if it does really emanate from IPS. You know, it's almost like it's one of those things where he just gets the blame for everything nowadays. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
I don't know, but I guess more will be revealed in time. I guess.
Well, Mad Mike just shoot himself off in a rocket, so he's pretty mental. We know that.
Alan B says Arwijn stole a cat.
Or Arwijn stole a cat.
Oh, is that VB? Hi, VB.
Hey, what's up, Jem?
Hey, Alan.
Good to see you,
Hello,
man.
VB.
Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, please welcome a very special guest, Validation Boy.
Woo! Welcome, VB.
Always good to see you, man. What have you been up to?
You know, some white nationalism. Just kidding. Or am I? No, but it's been, you know, both IPS and Mike Hughes have both been accused of being, excuse me, female to male transgenders. If that's what the next topic you're going to want to talk about was.
Okay, it's the next topic.
Well, it wasn't gonna be.
It doesn't have to be. Sorry, it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
I have always thought.
Well, we
IPS
can get to that. Actually, there is so we can touch on that later. Let's. What we got? Actually, we've got another video now. Unless anyone's got any more on Mad Mike Hughes.
Just
go ahead.
I don't know. The guy is just such a, in my opinion, a weak character as far as presenting himself on YouTube. His entire presence is a result of actions that IPS took. And if IPS hadn't pushed him forward, he would not have the image that he has now at all, even if he had done everything with the rocket that he did.
That's true, actually, isn't it?
He did attend the most recent Flat Earth conference in Denver. seemed like they kind of shoved him off into a separate room.
Right, yeah.
Told him to stay over there. He brought his rocket and I guess his limousine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because he's a limousine driver, isn't he?
Correct.
Yeah.
He's just too goofy to like be behind any of this stuff, you know?
Yeah,
that's just the way I see
Well,
it.
I think you make a good point about, you know, he wouldn't be who he is in Flat Earth at all in any way without IPS, you know, and that sort of Flat Earth branding has made him more interesting, I think. You know,
definitely.
Just some lunatic in a rocket is one thing, but a lunatic in a rocket that thinks he's going to prove the Earth is flat is a whole other thing, isn't it? You know. It's like lunatic in a rocket plus.
Didn't somebody accuse them of being related? Like Mike Muse is his mother, or his father, or his mother?
No, really?
Yes, I have. Yeah, Uncle Mike, Daddy Mike. I've heard it all. Yeah, because they're very similar in size and stature. So, you know,
Uncle Michelle.
It looks like a duck and it walks like a duck.
Transvestigation is very trendy, it seems, these days.
Oh god.
It would seem. Anyway, let's have another video before we transvestigate anyone. Where's the window gone for that? There it is. Oh, what we're on now? Let me just check. Yes, it's a fence jumper. We've had another defection. Jose G. Gonzalez, who did some observations actually at Lake Pontchartrain. He did a video calling out Soundly. He's never actually met Soundly, but Soundly did give him some locations to go to. And he went.
Are you seriously Jem, are you seriously calling the Mexican guy a fence jumper?
He is not Mexican.
He came here legally, I'll have you know.
He's Puerto Rican.
Oh gosh, I see that. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I've made a faux pas, but you know, perhaps you'll excuse me because I'm English and I don't know about, you know, Trump's wall and things. Anyway, he did this on Arwyn's show, and it made for interesting viewing. I'd certainly recommend it. It was a good sort of hour of it, I think. But here's 5 minutes of it. It's a good watch.
Little persons in my shoulders. One is telling me it's flat, the other is telling me you're full of shit. So I don't know, something has clicked in the last maybe 12 hours that I don't even know what I'm doing here, like talking to you. What is going on? Talk to me. Flat Earth, really? So people in chat, forgive me, people in Skype, everybody in the Flat Earth that knows me, that follows me, forgive me, but this is very disturbing for myself. But what is this Flat Earth thing? This is a belief system that we have adopted these last few years. There's no such thing as we live in a flat Earth. What is a flat Earth? What is the proof for flat Earth? You know how easy it is to picture, put yourself in a third person view and see the globe, how it works, how beautiful the orbital on the sun, the moon, the stars, everything. You can see it all. But then when I think about when I think about a flat Earth, I put myself in your shoes. A rectangular looping model. No, man, I've been ignorant all this time because I'm trying to keep believing in this and holding it tight, and even myself, I'm catching freaking globe proofs with my footage. Not the boat, not the mirage, but the obstruction is ridiculous. And then I'm trying to find this X, Y, whatever the horizontal curvature is not gonna be found because I don't have that big view, you know. I don't have the mileage long way to see the curvature, but I can see it straight ahead because I can see more obstruction the lower I go and the further the stuff is. It's obstructed big time, Arwijn, and it's difficult to explain it with this angle of view and this mirage.
No, and not at all. That's not difficult at all, and I find it very odd that you're not responding to the things I'm saying. You're sounding very much like a baller. I don't know what's with you, Jose, but I don't like you like this.
I worked last night. I haven't slept since yesterday morning.
Right, okay, well you need to get some sleep because you're not yourself right now.
Oh, I am more myself than ever.
No, you're not acting like the person that you want to be, that we want you to be.
Okay, give me a little flatter one-on-one. How do I picture this flattered? And something simple like the sun and the moon. Explain it to me. Go.
That's your own freaking problem. Okay? You imagine it. The world is not here to present you with a complete picture. Stop being a freaking baby demanding the whole picture. You're not gonna get it. I don't get it yet. We're figuring it out. That's the whole freaking purpose of this. Stop being a baby. It's not a belief.
It actually is a belief.
No, it's not.
For real?
No, it's a geometrical deduction. There is no cumulative drop. Ever.
The globe model works, okay? It's
no,
a
it
model.
Doesn't work. No. And you're one step away from being kicked and banned here if you're gonna repeat that shit in front of my face. Because you're betraying me. You're betraying my trust.
I'm not betraying you.
You are. You're turning away from everything you learned.
I cannot explain anything on the flat earth. I cannot visualize anything. I cannot make any claims in favor of flat earth because I cannot defend it. So I say this is a belief I have.
Maybe that's due to memory loss because you haven't had a good night's sleep and you kind of can't handle the level intellectually that is required to understand it.
This is me now speaking my real feelings, you know? And I feel really good about it.
That means that you're a two-tongued snake and a liar. Okay? So be careful where you thread. Yeah, you can stray the path, okay? God allows that. But you can't do it without consequences.
I have lost so many nights. I have had so many fights with my wife about this. And I lost a lot of respect from my family with this flat earth because I was holding into it really hard. I think it's going to be a lot easier now. Right now. Thank you.
Well, if you want money, help from people, then you gotta be loyal. And if you're gonna do switcheroos out of nowhere for no particularly good or well thought out reason, then yeah, that's gonna be a lot of trouble. You're gonna be at the people's mercy. Because after all this, I certainly don't want to financially support you. It sounds really harsh of me to say, but that's how I feel about it. Although, yeah, I still do damn well appreciate your footage, but there's just something wrong there, man. It's just...
Oh man! So much is being revealed right there, and the attitude, man.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch, wasn't it?
It was very hard to watch.
Yeah, it's cringy.
The money thing as well, from what we were talking about last week, you know, he suddenly starts going, "You want to be financially supported,
right?"
Or whatever.
I mean, I'd edited that down from, I don't know, like I say, it was probably about an hour that it went on for, and Arwijn sort of got progressively angrier during it. So, you know, we sort of saw some of that. But, yeah, it was... I mean, I think, you know, we've seen Jose sort of flip-flop around a little bit. But I think he meant it this time, you know.
I think he meant it too. It sounds like he's got a whole grasp of it as well. You know, he's thought about these issues. Simple, do you know what I mean? It's been answered for him.
Right. It's just the way he spoke about it, you know, it's sort of flat earth, what? You know, that I didn't expect to hear that.
Yeah, that was really interesting to hear. I hadn't actually heard him say that before. I watched part of the clip earlier, but this is the first time I've seen the whole thing. And he described the heliocentric model as beautiful, which is so much like I've never heard a flat earther or anybody pretending that's a flat earther that's pretending to be a globe earther ever describe it that way before.
Right.
And I think that's a really big. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't get over the fact that Arwijn. I mean, Arwijn was essentially threatening him, like, be careful what you say, and if you go down this path, we're gonna turn on you, and it was like straight up mafia talk.
No,
right. It was bad, and at one point he said, "You're not being what we want you to be."
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
No, which was just bizarre, wasn't it? That he
I think he started off by saying, "I don't think I like you like this."
Right. and it's weird because when you watch the whole thing, I mean, obviously I had to edit it right down, but when Jose first goes on there and first says this stuff, and when he goes, "Flat Earth, what?" Or something like that. And Arwijn just sort of is in his chat and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm distracted." And it's almost like he just had to find a way of not hearing what was being said to him. And there's another point in it where he actually stands up and just walks away. And then comes back, and as he's coming back, he's going, no, like this. It's like
he actually told Jose he should have just gotten a full body massage.
What?
Instead of turning back to the globe.
Oh God!
Oh,
that'll fix it.
Did he know he was streaming when he said that?
But I mean, there were also, he mentioned his family there, and some other people come in the hangout. I can't remember who it was, but they were saying, "Well, why are you bothered about your family?" Well, it's pretty important.
Yeah. I thought that was the quite relatable part for me as well. Him say it's going to be easier now, back to reality.
Right.
Kind of get him slapped out of this. So I think
it comes as no surprise. I mean, like everyone that converts, especially lately, it's like I've talked to them all for the process, and you can see it. It's always the same. It's they very slowly but surely start doing the work and start realizing that the model actually does work. And then they have a period of time where they sort of like are kind of play it both ways. They sort of like, I guess they call them like fence jumpers or whatever. And then eventually, after they sort of have gotten comfortable with the fact that they already know, they've known for now 3 weeks or 6 weeks or however long, then they turn. And it's happened to like 3 or 4 people, and it's always the same model. It's once you do the work, there is no other solution.
Right. Yeah.
So what about VB then? Has he done the work?
Oh,
yeah.
Getting
is
called
VB
out.
still with us?
I'm here.
Oh, cool.
I'm here.
What are your thoughts on the recent run of fence jumping flat earthers, VB? I mean, you guys are dropping like flies. What are you going to do about it?
Well,
sorry.
These people are all selling out to Satan.
Right.
Okay.
That's useful.
This is an issue of faith, and these people have no faith in their creator, and they're sellouts for Satan. And that's how I see it as a hardcore flat earther, as a biblical flat earth literalist. You know what I'm saying?
What? I didn't know you were a biblical flat earth literalist. I knew you were a flat earther, but is this a new angle? Have you found God? But while you're inside, usually people find God, don't they?
No. I mean,
been in jail
have you not
recently?
No. Have you not been following my channel? I mean, for the last year or so, I've been talking about Jesus and stuff.
Oh, right. Okay. I haven't been following you that closely. I have to admit, VB.
I know. Sorry.
From your
very busy, man.
I'm scary.
From your rhetoric, I wouldn't have thought that you were a biblical flat earth literalist either. I mean, you've said things about God and Jesus, but you don't cite scripture, you don't go in detail about it. Like, your rants have very little to do with the Bible and Jesus.
In fact, VB,
Yeah.
you sorry, I must get in here. You devised the tangibility argument, of course.
Yeah.
Which,
that goddamn argument.
which has gained popularity among across the community. Go ahead, VB. Sorry.
You know, I'll be honest. The intangible sky argument is, I came up with that, and it's essentially, like I said 2 years ago, this is going to be the final roadblock. This is the be-all, end-all argument. This is it. This is as big as it gets. This is the final argument, and this is the one that's going to stump the globe proponents. And if you notice, every single top, maybe except Eric Dubé, other than that, every single top brass flat Earth person is pretty much just using Validation Boy's intangible sky argument. Of course, giving me zero credit, but that's all they do. That's what it's come down to, just like I predicted. And it's crazy. Like, I'm the human being on the entire planet Earth that has settled the score on flat Earth. I'm literally the guy.
Can someone catch me up? What is this argument?
Well, basically, that we can't know anything about stars because they're intangible.
Yeah, it's rubbish. But the VB definitely came up with it. That is for sure. I remember. Everyone uses it.
Yeah.
Everyone uses it now. But did you come up with that because you understand the star argument and that? Because that's always interests me when people come up with an argument. So you do understand the argument for the globe with the stars.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but then the thing is that what these things are, we don't really know. And I think I even thought of it on this show first, or under a Gem Panda show when you had what's that lady on?
When we did the dinner parties.
Yeah, dinner party, and it was like a long time ago, and you had some woman on here who had like a cat in outer space and all this stuff on her thing. What was that woman's name?
Oh gosh, don't know. Oh.
She was a really staunch globe proponent, and she was really, really angry. Older lady.
Would it be Kara?
Kara, yeah.
Kara.
Basically, from an argument I had with her, I realized what I was thinking, and I was like, okay, so now I have a great argument. So you can thank Kara for triggering me into creating the intangible sky argument.
Oh my God, Kara. Kara.
It's interesting that these little bits of flat Earth nostalgia, isn't it? When you think about, you say how the argument is used now, and sort of where it came, that it had a beginning, Well, it's nice that I was able to add something to the flat Earth community, then, wasn't I? By providing the platform for this argument to be devised.
Well, this argument, it's basically the be all end all. I mean, be it right or wrong, whatever you guys feel about it, it's the argument that's going to get in the way of any progress moving forward.
Do you think it's just more of a cop out, though? Really?
No, not at all. It's a cop out. It's a cop out to assume that you know what these things are. You don't even know if they are things.
But because you were saying you think the guy Jose or something sold out to Satan or something. But you could, if you understand the argument, then you could understand why it's compelling, and that it might seem like a bit of a cop out to just say because something's intangible, which you don't know if it's intangible or not because you haven't been there to try and touch it.
Well,
no, that's what makes it intangible.
No, it doesn't.
I think because you haven't been there.
With every proposition, there's three options. Either the proposition is true, false, or you don't know, and you don't feel that there's any way you can know. And so Validation Boy has taken a separate path from us. When we're answering a given proposition as if it's true, and that proposition is the laws of physics and the way light specifically behaves throughout the universe is the same everywhere. And we have answered that proposition with the assumption that it's true. Validation Boy has answered that proposition with that it's false.
Let's not get too far.
Honestly, I zoned out.
Not necessarily that it's false, but that it cannot be proven to be true. That's what my argument is.
Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead, Scott. If you have a quick word on it, and we'll leave it there because I don't want it to be a debate show.
Sure. Well, all I was going to say is that I don't think anybody would pretend that it can be proven to be true. In fact, I don't think anyone would pretend any of it can be proven to be true. It's all sort of matters of degree of evidence and belief. But that's all I was going to say.
Good point. Well, I mean, that's it for video, but there was a couple of other things I wanted to cover. First, very quickly, I just get this couple of things out of the way. in the description is a link to a video by Johnny Horan, is the channel. It was sent to me actually for last week's show, for when we were doing the sort of show and tell thing. And I didn't want to show the video because there weren't a lot. It was a cool video, but there weren't a lot of subs or views on this channel. So go and have a look at that video. It is basically a bit of a good, nice little chunk of Nathan Oakley's hypocrisy in that video. So Johnny Horan's channel, link is in the description. It's down near the bottom. Take a look at that. So I just want to get that out of the way. And what else have we got? Oh yeah, just a couple of other things. No video for these, but while we've got VB here, he might have an interest in this. Poncho Pete abandoned his channel, or closed down his channel, then started a new channel called Flat Earth Pub, and he started transvestigating everyone, including himself at one point and his mum. I just wondered if anyone had any thoughts on that, or you'd seen any of the action from that.
I went in there, maybe the other. Sorry, VB, you got something?
Well, all I know is that, you know, the transvestigation has been big since like 2015, 2014. And the YouTube hates it, but some people get away with it, some people don't. I recently dropped a video on an American female politician who I think is a transgender, and that video exploded to like 1,400 views within 3 days, which is very, very big for my channel because I only get 200-300 views a video. So I know transvestigation is popular. Maybe that's why Poncho Pete's doing it, just so he can get numbers, because he's all about the attention, as we all know.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, on his channel, I mean, he tends to play videos from other channels anyway, and I was watching, you know, I don't know who it was, but someone was going through and saying, look at this person's obviously male, and this person's obviously female, and it was just, I don't know, very odd. You know, normally just one clue is enough, and to decide this. But you know, I thought Poncho was worth a mention. It's pretty weird. I mean, I think the guy's nuts, quite honestly, and I think that people are really enabling his nuttiness by, you know, sort of allowing him to pretend that what he's doing is in any way credible. I mean, at one point, apparently, he was looking in the mirror for scars on his own body to see if he had been transgendered.
Jeez.
You know, I mean, that's
not healthy.
No, that's, you know, that's someone who's mentally ill, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Jem, do you think this could be his attempt to get out of Flat Earth? This is just his cheap cop-out way of doing it.
I don't know. I mean, I mean, apparently the event really that led up to it was his friend, who's a real life friend, but goes in his server a lot, and came to Flat Earth just via Poncho's hangout. So wasn't necessarily a conspiracy theorist before, or but anyway, his friend came in my Discord server and, you know, did a bit of debating with us, and, you know, actually went away amiable and not offended, which is unusual for my Discord server, and came back and had another go. And then he wanted Poncho. He went back to Poncho and told him about his experience and wanted Poncho to come in. And this was sort of the beginning of what led to them having a big fallout. And then Poncho sort of banned everyone. I think Jibby was banned as well, just as he did a couple of years ago. You know, when we were all there, and he banned me and a load of other people. I don't know. Were you banned, Twit, from Ponchos, or were you allowed on?
I think she's gone.
Maybe
she's
we
in the
lost
chat
Twit.
for a bit. Yeah.
No. I've never been on his panel, but as far as I know, I'm still allowed in his chat.
Right.
But that could change.
Because originally the original channel was free chat, and that was a sort of it was supposed to be a free speech channel, and anyone could go on, and there was, you know, there were flat earthers on there, and there were, you know, I would go on there, Mark would go on there, and you know, there were some battles on there and some good conversations and stuff, and the sort of ownership of that channel changed a bit, and it ended with Poncho, and one day he just banned us all. And that was when he started his countdown of how many days he's waiting for proof of the globe, which was up in the 800 days or something. But I think for the first time, was it yesterday or the day before, he actually didn't have a live stream running, and that hadn't happened for, you know, nearly 3 years or whatever. Go ahead, VB. Did you want to say something?
Oh, you know, there's several transvestigation channels. The coolest one that everybody seems to like is a guy named Mr. E, and now he's called Transpocalypse now. But the actual most accurate one, I believe, is a guy named Conspiracies by Hans. I know a lot of people don't take that. I know a lot of people don't take that guy seriously, but he really is the shit. He talks about free Martin and in utero transgenderization, which is what I think really is actually happening to a lot of people, creating the creation of free Martins, people that are half, like, literally both. You know, they don't have both sexual organs, but they'll be basically a man who's, you know, useless and pudgy and effeminate and has big hips, but has a little micro penis, little micro soft, as he calls it. You know.
Hold on, is my camera on?
I love Conspiracies by Hans. I mean, I only watched him when he first came out for a while, but because he did a few flat Earth related things as well, didn't he? Like he transvestigated Patty and a few others.
Hans?
Yeah. I used to watch him like just when he first started, when he first making his first few videos. And he's hilarious, but he always got me going. I didn't know whether he's being serious or not, because he's actually hilarious. I could show that to people who aren't into any of this, and they think that's funny as anything, like watching his videos, like they're laughing. And you know, I don't know, the one where he's like, I've got to be quiet because I'm transvestigating my dad and they don't like me making videos and stuff. It's just like, oh, he's brilliant. He really is.
Weird. And yeah, and then another channel that went down this week was Antonio Subarat's. His channel disappeared, and then he reappeared with a new channel and a video saying what he's going to do in his new channel, but with no explanation as to why or what happened to his old channel, which I thought was interesting. At least it's a shame he came back, but you know, there you go. What can you do?
It's such a shame.
Any thoughts on Antonio Subarat's, VB? I'm sure you're a big fan.
Yeah, worst fucking guy ever. Fucking Antonio, the subway rat and shit, man. I mean, that guy's the fucking epitome of disgusting and shit, man. But I mean, I'm sorry. I know I'm an asshole. I know I say such rude shit about people. I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's
but I'm just telling
That's
you
fine. We like diverse opinions on this show, VB. That's what we're all about.
Well, the thing is with Antonio, it's like maybe he wanted to kickstart his whatever. What's he gonna do now? What did he say he's gonna do now?
Well, he's got a book. He talked about his book a lot that he's going to publish and sell.
Is it about art or something?
I can't remember. No, I think it's a flat Earth book, isn't it?
Oh, how to pick up flat Earth trannies.
He's an expert at this point.
New York Times bestseller.
His video was kind of bitchy. He was going on about things he'd done that he didn't get credit for, or, you know, and that's why he had to sell his book, so he wasn't just giving away his great ideas and truths and this sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, it makes you wonder if he was trying to kickstart a following, and he used using Flat Earth for a little while, and then it turned into a 2 or 3 year drama, and then he hooked up with that guy in drag and everything, and then he was getting all this attention for it, and it just kind of went too far, and he's like, okay, I think I've had enough, and you know, it's impending doom that a lot of these Flat Earth top brass people are sensing.
The guy in drag you're referring to is Patricia Steele, I take it. Is that what you mean?
No comment.
Well,
no comment.
Oh shit! Now I've said it. I thought that's what you meant. Anyway, any thoughts on any of this, Twit?
Not really.
Twit's having a dinner now.
I'm sorry, guys.
No problem.
I've been back and forth on Patricia Steele so many times. Is it a man? Is it a woman? I just don't. I mean, And I just keep seeing all these new pictures keep coming out and full body pictures and stuff. And I'm just like a little bit leaning towards more that it might be a man. I'm not sure. I can't say for sure, but it's definitely starting to look that way.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
I will
It's definitely
disassociate
an
myself from that comment. That's not the view of this show, and I think she's very much a woman.
I would have to say, as another female, that I think Patricia is very much a female and has always been a female.
I would agree.
Well, I don't know. You know, I'm not. You can't know anything in this world.
I think she's maybe
Twit has a wrench.
Now look what you've done,
She's a
VB.
glamorous lady.
You put
Twit has a
seeds of
wrench
doubt
on
in
Patty's
Cat's
show.
mind.
I do not.
I've seen your wrench, Twit.
I
I've seen
don't
it.
have a wrench. I swear
saw it 2 days ago, Twit.
I don't have, unless she just
Okay.
gave me one, but I've never
Yeah.
had one before.
You definitely got a blue wrench over in the potato
Wow,
sack.
I'll have to go check it out.
Well, unless you have a wrench over at Ponchos, we can't know for sure.
I don't think anyone's got a wrench at Ponchos anymore.
If I understand the earlier argument, though, unless Validation Boy has actually touched Patricia Steer, she's intangible, and so we can't.
Yeah. I was wondering that, Scott. Yeah, I think she is, in fact, intangible.
I gotta say, it's like we traffic on the borderline of sanity already with Flat Earth a little bit. There are definitely people in this community who are not sane. There are some, and I feel like it's all I can do. There's like a hard line for me there. Once you start getting these topics that are just absurd, like everyone that's a man is a woman and vice versa, it's like it's just too much. It becomes what is the quality of what is the point of this debate? Like, what do you get out of this? At least with Flat Earth, we talk about science, you learn new things about the world. Like, what could you possibly gain from debating over whether some random person nobody knows, nobody's going to meet, is a man or a woman? It just seems ludicrous to me.
Well, I mean, it's a spiritual thing. It's like
I was going to say, you're about to go down a rabbit hole, Scott. Are you ready? Strap in. Go, VB.
It's about, transgenderism is a thing. It's a cult that exists in Hollywood, and they literally create these celebrities in utero, transgenderized. Yeah. And so there's a special breed of people, and those are the ones that everyone calls reptilians or non-human entities and stuff like that. And it's all connected to big science, because that's also what flat earthers believe, that stuff can't be proven, so it's a lie, so it's of Satan. And then the transgenders have their whole cult, and the entire Hollywood scene is all transgendered people, exclusive. Like, it's a glass ceiling. It's a transgender glass ceiling. You can't be famous unless you are. Usually there are a couple actual normal sexed people in Hollywood over the years. They're spattered throughout, but 95% of them are actually part of this club.
Let me guess. Kennedy missed this wave. This was installed post Kennedy. Otherwise he's a transgender too, right?
Well, the Church of Satan guy was on an interview on.
All right, sorry.
So let me ask Scott. As a transgendered man in Hollywood, have you noticed that 95% of actors that you work with that are transgendered? Have you come across that?
Very convincing, Jim. This is the thing.
I don't know, maybe we lost Scott. It looks like
Scotsman has handlers have told him.
Yeah, I'm just getting the official word on what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. It turns out that I can. It's just ludicrous. It's like, but again, without actually getting into the argument of it, because I just don't. My real point is a different question. What is the value of the argument? So Validation Boy has told himself a story, and he's got the story, and it's probably full of details about reptilians and how he knows that so-and-so is trans. But whatever, it's a story, and he can tell it, and people can... But what's the value of having that debate? What could possibly benefit? Who could possibly benefit? So he and I can talk about this for 2 hours, and I can say, well, I met so-and-so. We can go back and forth, but where's the value? At least on Flat Earth, sometimes I say something and someone says, no, go look it up. And I do. And I find that I'm wrong. And I learn more about the world. I actually grow from a flat earth debate, but I can't see how anyone could grow from a debate about he said, she said about people they've never met.
Well, I mean, some people out there talk about, there's a guy named Real Conspiracy, and he talks about constantly about, oh, you guys are fapping your rocks off to these Bigfoots, and you don't know it. So for him, it's like that's his crusade. Is he doesn't want men being attracted to men in drag like that, and he's just exposing it. And then there's all different kinds of reasons why people do it.
I think on a subconscious level, the base of it is like we all like the idea of the opposite sex being attracted to us. And so if you're able to point out other people who aren't the same sex as you, then the opposite sex is going to see you as a marginally better candidate. And it's all this it's a subconscious search for attention that is deeply ingrained within all animals. Maybe I didn't articulate that very well, but I think we're getting very far off topic here.
Pretty much every single transvestigation channel that's worth anything out there on YouTube right now they've never shown their faces, or if they have, it's because they've been doxxed or something like that. But they just never show their faces, and they're always usually married and like very, very Christian.
How do you know if they never show their face?
That's what they say. They're like, they never show their face, and they're talking, like, I'm married, and this is not for any kind of like way to pick up chicks or anything. I don't know if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, but you should always assume that whatever somebody says, the opposite is more likely to be true.
Yeah, right. I mean, God forbid. Yeah, exactly.
I guess. I mean, is that how you operate, though, Lewis?
Well, you're doing it with genders, aren't you? If somebody says they're male, the chances are they're not.
No, I'm not saying the whole world is some big tranny cesspool. I'm just saying, like, in Hollywood specifically, like like your top people, your top most famous people, and your top politicians, they're all in utero free martins. That's the theory. That's the going theory.
Okay.
Anyways, we don't have to talk about this, man. Sorry.
No,
guys.
on that note, we could probably wrap up. But at first, probably give your channel a plug, VB, because I know our audience will definitely be your audience.
Anyone listening to Debate Flat Earth and More, if you dare, if you want to get the most triggered feelings you've ever gotten in your life, come check out my channel. And thumbs the fuck down at every single video you can.
That's the way, guys. Validation Boy, check him out.
He has a dynamic chat.
Yeah, Twitwit is actually contending for the championship belt in my live stream chat right now. She's making a very strong showing. She's definitely the number one contender right now. But our champion
Does she have a wrench, though?
There's no wrenches in Validation Boy live stream explicitly.
Yeah, Validation Boy does not ban people from his chat, which of course is unusual.
Nice.
We know.
I respect that.
I might be one of the most very unique people that exists in this entire scene.
I think that's true, VB. That's always been true.
Yeah, the way he plugged his channel was definitely accurate as well.
Right, I'm going to get this wrapped up, guys, because we've been going on, I don't know, the best bit of 90 minutes. So, anybody else got any final thoughts before we end it? Right.
Hollywood's really not that bad. It's normal people. They're just doing their job. It's really just not as awful as everyone seems to think, I promise.
That's what a Hollywood agent would say, Scott.
Damn it. Catch-22.
Right, so join us again next week for more fabulous flatness. In the meantime, if you see something that you think should be included in the show, please post a timestamp link in the comments section of this video, or join our Discord server, the link for which is in the description, along with channel links for tonight's panel. Except for VB, because he turned up late. Our Discord server has over 1,100 members, and we managed to keep a conversation going virtually 24/7. We welcome members with opposing views, and sometimes we don't even call them names, although not very often. So click the link in the description and join us. Thanks again to tonight's panel, and thanks to you all for watching. We'll be back around the same time next week. So until then, please rate, comment, and subscribe, and share this video. Have a great night.